When I went on, it was episode 8 of their season, and literally it was kind of like going into like a set of Apocalypse Now or something. They were all like, we don't know, man. We don't have a time slot. We don't have a title. We don't know what's happening. We've been shooting this thing for years.
Welcome back to Square Off. Kate Walsh stars as Dr. Addison Montgomery, no longer Shepherd, I guess,
divorced,
on the ABC hit Grey's Anatomy. Kate, thank you for joining us.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
So this was an interesting story surrounding your joining the show. You came in, and I know you've probably told this a million times, but you came in for a brief flight of episodes as the not exactly evil, but the ex-wife.
Right.
And then stuck. How did that happen?
Yeah, I was hired to do just a 5-episode arc as the estranged sort of, wicked witch from the east come to, reign on the parade of Derek and Meredith. And that was all it was supposed to be. And then I was actually already signed on to do a half-hour pilot for ABC.
A comedy pilot.
Yeah, a comedy that Barry Kemp had written, and which was, they were, of course, you do every time you do a pilot, you're like, this one's going to go. And, and then it didn't, surprise. And then literally like the day after that, they called me from Grey's and said, we'd like to have you come back as a, series regular, and, that never happens.
Right.
You're like, really? On a hit show? Yeah, no, I don't think, of course. So it was a real surprise and a happy one at that.
Did you have a sense in that early going, those first 5 episodes, that you were on the next big thing? Or is this, just another show?
It hadn't really taken off yet.
It hadn't. When I went on, it was episode 8 of their season, and literally it was kind of like going into like a set of Apocalypse Now or something. They were all like, we don't know, man. We don't have a time slot. We don't have a title. We don't know what's happening. We've been shooting this thing for years. So I was like, yeah, you're right. Like, where is he? But it was actually, I thought the writing was great. But there's a lot of projects that I've been on. Literally the half hour I did, I thought, this is great. It's going to go. There's so many projects I've worked on, and I think, oh, there's great writing, great actors, great crew. And for some reason it doesn't click, or the stars don't line up. So by the time we finished, we had just gotten the official name of the show and an air date after Desperate Housewives of ABC. And then, of course it aired, and we had a great help from Desperate Housewives, and then it held the numbers. So it was a happy surprise. But no one, you always hope. And then, yeah.
Obviously, in this show, there's a lot of bed hopping and in the relationships, but it seems like you've gotten around a little bit, even by the standards of Grey's Anatomy. You were married to McDreamy, with him for a while,
right?
Then with McSteamy, and then this flirtation with Alex that started. Are you starting to worry that you're going to become like the tired old the tramp of Boy, it sounds so much better when you say it.
I'll be like having a walker, like, who's next? I am lonely and empty inside. Yeah, I know. No, it just cracks me up because, Addison definitely gets a lot more action than I do. It's just, and people are, always asking, oh, what's it like, McDreamy and McSteamy? It's just so surreal and so kind of funny. And yet, I do have to say that I think that Chandra and the rest of the writing staff does a really credible job at keeping it relatively, even though it is still a soap opera in a way, and that the structure is that keeping it kind of real. That I still think it's realistic that this is how people behave. People do have marriages that then go bad, and then they have affairs, and then it takes, an incredibly long time for some people to dissolve the marriage. It doesn't, and I really love that that's how they dealt with my character in the first season and a half. That it took that long. Some people are like, "Let's go." Even me, I was like, "Hey, let's get this over with. I'm tired of being in a bad marriage." But I think they do a really kind of credible job at keeping that somewhat realistic, that people don't, after 10 years of marriage, just go, all right, we're done because you got a hot intern and I made a mistake. And I think it's also true that you work 16 hours a day with people, and, you don't have a personal life, and so you may start picking up something with someone you're working with, guys.
Don't get any ideas.
Going on one of these big shows is like having your ticket stamped. You could you know, whatever you want to do next is almost your choice. Do you have things in mind that are like, I'd just love to get to this kind of project or that?
I do. I actually, you know, the hard part with the hour-long show is just the time. Because
Right.
we're there, you know, about 9.5 months a year. So it's really finding the right project in that very short hiatus. But I was just saying to my manager the other day, I'm like, you know, it'd be kind of fun, other than like a big comedy, like a, you know, or romantic comedy or something, would be just to be like some crazy gun-toting mad woman like action movie, like just, you know, I'm like, it just
Like a
seems
Tarantino film
yeah, it seems
or
like it'd
something,
be
yeah.
really fun to walk around in a catsuit with a couple of guns. And I don't know, listen, I just did a PSA for the Brady Bill, and I really do take gun control very seriously, and yet I am like, that would be fun, just some really crazy fun action movie. So there's a script out there that I'm sniffing around at. We'll see if it works out.
I can't say I would have predicted this was what you were going to say.
Right? But how
I
much
asked
fun
you.
would that be? I always
It
look
would
for
be
stuff
cool.
too, because there's in that for structure, like there's also room for comedy. It's not just
Right.
like, you know, Dirty Harry. But you know what? Women don't. The great thing about Grays is they do write great roles for women. We get to do a lot of things that I think women just haven't gotten a chance to do.
Right.